Okay. Thanks for joining us, Plexus with Purpose team. We're so glad to have you guys on. I know some of you are going to be watching this as a recording because it's kind of late if you don't live in Arizona. And even if you do live in Arizona, it's a little bit late. But we are going to hear from Amber Ruiz, who's on our team. She's a senior Ruby and getting close to Emerald. And we're excited to hear from her about her journey because she joined in February last year and was my third ambassador. She's who got me to silver. And she's my running buddy, and I am so proud of her, how she's always had this never quit attitude. And she's took a while to get to gold, and now her business is growing at amazing rates. And so we're going to hear from her tonight, some tips and some of her journey. And we're going to go over some ideas for you guys to make the best of these last 15 days of May. So go ahead, Amber.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. So like Rebecca said, I started, well, she didn't really say when I started. I started with her in February of last year. I started just the products, wasn't going to share the business. I think a lot of you kind of already know my beginning story. But then, so I did start giving the business a try in March. And at first I did add a few people right away, and I was really excited I was going, and Rebecca at the same time was going, and she was just going and going and going and like totally adding, and I was going, but I kind of felt a little bit left behind in a way, and I'll be honest, I felt a little discouraged, but I decided like I'm not giving up. I'm not going to give up on this at all, because I knew that like God had put this in my heart to work the business. And so we went to convention in June. I was still silver. I had started in, March really. And then we went to convention. Actually, it was in May last year. I was still silver. And when we went to convention, that was a turning point for us. Like you go there, and there's thousands of women in there, and men too. Like the men are starting to really come into Plexus a lot. So that's super awesome. But the amount of women that were in the room, and they were mostly moms, stay-at-home moms, was amazing. And when I saw them up on stage, and I saw them sitting in the front of the audience with like their emerald and sapphire and diamond chairs, I was like, I can do that, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm not gonna give up. It was super inspiring to see all of them on the journey, and then to actually hear some of their journeys up on stage and say, you know what, like I wasn't one of the ones that took off right away. I didn't go emerald in 6 months. It's actually taken me 18 months or a couple of years. Then I really just got inspired, because I was like, oh, then it's possible for me too. Like my game's not over. Like I still have it in me to do it. God still has his plans set in place. So we went. I was still silver. Then I was really blessed and able to go to Leaders Retreat last October with Rebecca. I think I still hadn't gone gold. I was getting close, but I hadn't gone gold. And I will tell you, right, like it took me 37 ambassadors on my team to go gold. I have that many white lines. And so I went to Leaders Retreat with her. She was like, she saw it in me all along. And I feel like as leaders, that's something, just like pour into your team, because Rebecca really believed in me. The days that I didn't believe in myself, she believed in me. So I was blessed and able to go to Leaders Retreat last year with her, and that was really eye-opening to me. Like I don't know, like God just put some fire in me, and I came home. I was so excited, just like that Plexus was giving their ambassadors. They reward us so well, like that we got to go on this retreat with Rebecca, and most of it really was just like fun mom time. Like we got to just hang out. There was obviously amazing training too, but it was just fun time. So anyways, I came home with a fire in me, and then my cousin Sadie joined my team, because all along the journey, like you're really just reaching out daily to find like diamonds and people on your team that want it like you want it. And my cousin Sadie just started sharing, and she was like out of nowhere. Like she had been taking the product since I started, and truly all this time I thought she was going to quit every month. Like she didn't really talk to me much about it. She kind of ignored some of my calls. And then she just called me one day and she's like, I want to sign up as an ambassador. I don't want to be a customer. And I was like, okay. And then she just decided to start sharing. And I think I don't know if all of you know her, but she is more than likely going to be Senior Ruby this month as well. And she just blew up. So she was like all along, like you just never know who like God's going to bring to your team and how you will grow. And I don't just have Sadie, like there's a bunch, and there's some of you on the call too. Like you guys are all rock stars too, but all of our journeys look different. Sadie has been a rock star and she grew right away. And then there's, the rest of my team, we're all like growing slowly, but it's all a blessing, and my biggest thing is I just want everybody to realize, like, don't compare your journey to somebody that's moving fast, because that might not be your journey. And if you stay on track and you don't give up, like God is going to put those people on your team. Like you just never know where they're going to come from. They might be a customer that you have no belief in them, that they'll ever be an ambassador, or you might get them from garage sale sites. They might be a friend that you've been friends with for years and you think to yourself, oh, they're not interested. That's just truly not the case. And I do reach out to new people constantly, and I still don't add like crazy like some people might, but I will also say a lot of the people I've added, they want the business. I have a lot gone, but I also have a good amount of people now that really want the business. So that's a blessing too. So I don't know, that's my journey. And I just say, don't give up. Like, don't feel like, oh, I'm not adding like super fast, or nobody wants this, or nobody comments on my post, because that's my journey too. But I never have given up, and I don't intend to give up. And the biggest thing I can say is just stay on track and doing it, and don't like stay down too long, or don't feel sorry for yourself, because that's not helping you grow. The only thing that's going to help you grow is to continue reaching out and pouring in and loving on your team. Like that I'm a believer in.
I just want to say that Amber, one thing I think that was a turning point for her too is that I just can remember her either right before gold or kind of right after gold. She just kind of had that determination that I'm going to just pray. I'm just going to pray for my team. I'm just going to give this to God. Because she would have a lot of people turning off. She had a lot of attrition. Like she said, she had to have 37 people to get to 20 for gold. So a lot of people had quit and turned off and couldn't afford it, or whatever the reasoning was, like it just seemed like it was, for her, it seemed like it was never going to come together. And she's watching me, who was speeding past her through the ranks, and she could have just gotten really discouraged and given up, but she never did. And, so I think her turning point was just, I saw this fire in her to pray for her team, to reach out and to encourage her girls to reach out. Like she did vision boards and, girls' nights, for the girls. It was mostly girls for a really long time on her team. Now we have some dudes. But, like she just bonded with her team and did team meetings. And, I know she talks to her team a lot. She really reaches out to them and believes in them and pours belief into them. And so I think that's really been a big thing too, as a reason why her team has been growing so much now. And even, like the girls here in Arizona, for a while, it seemed like a lot of her growth was just Sadie in Illinois. And now the Arizona team here is really catching on fire and really growing. And they're reaching out. I mean, they're working hard. It's not like they're just, having Facebook magic happen and all of a sudden they're, getting all kinds of people on their team. They're working hard. I can tell you that day and night. And I think a lot of that is because of Amber's leadership, because she is a hard worker too, and she wants this, and she believes she can get there, and she believes her team can too.
Yeah, don't lose faith in I would say that too, like don't lose faith in the people that are currently on your team. Just pour into them constantly. And even white line, they might surprise you. Like I had one come on last month, and she's been a white line for months, but now she is like, I want to work the business. Actually, I have 2 of them. Mm-hmm. So don't lose faith in people. It's all going to happen in their time. I think just be really supportive on your team pages. Yeah, and literally love on and pour, because that's what this is like loving on your team and others. And it all comes around. It really does.
So putting them first, I think that's another thing too. Like sometimes, sometimes going to a sip and see is not exactly convenient, or sometimes, there's other things you'd rather be doing or whatever. But when you put your team first and like we've traveled for our team, like when Amber's done that too. She's gone, or let's see, did you go to California yet? You are going to California. Not yet, but you're going to. She has that on the list to do. But she's gone to Illinois, so I think and that's hard. You're leaving your family, you're going away, you're paying for a flight. Like, it's not easy, but the sacrifice is worth it, and giving to your team too. I know Amber's been very generous to her team with contests and stuff. And so, I think that pours belief, and it shows your team that they're important. And so I think that's a really good lesson that we've learned. Hi, Beth. Say hi. There's a guy on here too. Jason. Say hi to Jason. He's got to see the dude. He's the Plexus dude. He's sharing on Facebook and everything.
Oh, you got a man ambassador.
Man ambassador.
We recruited him.
He's a handsome dude too.
Yeah.
All right. Have fun.
All right. Take the dog with you, please.
Solid.
All right. Okay, enough. Goodbye, family. Sorry about that. Okay, so I know I don't want to feel like a broken record, but we are really excited to do these 3-way calls, or 3-way Zooms, or 4-way Zooms. How many people you can get on a Zoom? That's something we're starting to really implement. So when you have potential, or some of your people on your team have a potential, an ambassador, if you can get them on some way of communicating with you from the beginning, whether that's a 3-way chat or getting them to come on a Zoom, I think that's a really good idea. We've been seeing that work really well lately. So, it's good just to have your upline, whoever that is, whoever your sponsor is, or whoever's available, to get on with them and share, have that upline share their story, and, be there to ask those people, tell me what has attracted you to Plexus, or what you're interested in about Plexus. That's how you should start it. And then they'll tell you, and you really want to be listening to what they're saying. They'll tell you what they're interested in, if it's health, if it's, doing the business, whatever it is, and you can learn a lot about what their needs are and what their goals are. And so then, just share your story and be there with them. And I think that when you do schedule those 3-ways, or those, whatever we want to call them, the Zooms, just really the follow-up is key right after that. You want them to be either, joining as an ambassador or a preferred customer pretty quickly after those meetings, because it's still fresh in their mind. I think the longer they wait after they've talked to your upline, then they'll kind of talk themselves out of it, like they're not as excited anymore. So that's, it's taking time out of your upline, they're spending time investing in you, getting on the video with you, and trying to help you get ambassadors or customers. And so you want to respect that and try to get them to go ahead and commit to, joining or trying it as a customer. And some people I know on here and on this that are going to be listening to this later have just joined Plexus, and they're like, okay, where do I start? Where do I begin? And one of the first things that we always have people that are not sure about is like, how do I talk to them about the 3 ways to buy? And, when we first started, a lot of us sent out the little graphic that says 3 ways to buy, and it has retail, preferred, and join as ambassador. And we have kind of found over time that it really makes the most sense to start with the business first, start with joining, because so many people, they just want the cheapest deal. A lot of us are bargain shoppers, and so they want the cheapest deal. And I've heard people say, well, I feel guilty, like, we need to let them try it first and make sure they like it, and that way they can have that 60-day money-back guarantee. That's the most ethical way to do this. I've heard people say that. And what I will tell you is I really feel like the most ethical way to do this is to offer people the cheapest deal, the least expensive way to do it, which would be joining. They're kind of having to take a little risk, I guess, because maybe they haven't actually even tasted the drink yet or anything, or they haven't tried the products. But you can assure them that less than 1% of people want their money back anyway. So we hardly have anybody returning it. And that's really true. I mean, even with all the people I've dealt with and Amber, we rarely have people that want their money back. So, yeah.
The biggest mistake, not mistake, but I was, and I am like a shy person in general, and I've come out of my shell more in last year than ever, but I was really nervous to ask people to sign up as an ambassador. Like I just didn't ever really click for a long time. Like it really is the best deal for people. And even if they just want to be wholesale buyers, like I have plenty of people that are just wholesale buyers, and that's amazing. That's what you need. But it took me a long time because I always felt like, oh, I'm trying to convince them to sell something, but I'm not. Like that's the best price. That's exactly how I signed up, and a lot of us signed up right away. Is that because it was the best deal? Money was tight in our situation. So if I would recommend something to you guys now, is like, don't be scared to share the ambassador, as signing people up as an ambassador right away.
Absolutely. And that's such a good point, Amber, because yeah, I mean, you know, we tend to be like, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be pushy, you know, and, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. I mean, you don't want to be pushy, and you don't want to be like demanding about it, or it's just this, you don't want to lose a sale over it either. I mean, if they really don't want to join, they just want to try it first as a customer, let them, because sometimes they do, you know, stay great customers for a long time, or sometimes they'll convert over to an ambassador. So it's fine to, you know, to let them do that. But yeah, I think if you lead with the joining option first, and then know that if they're not going to do that, then the next option is preferred customer. Because, you know, preferred customer, they're going to have it shipped to them every month, but it's flexible. They can cancel it if they want to. They can scoot it out another month. They can, you know, they're still going to get that 60-day money-back guarantee if that's what they're really worried about. You don't really want them to be retail, because retail, it's the most expensive way to buy it. They still have the 60-day money-back guarantee, but then so does preferred, and it's cheaper. And for you as the ambassador signing up a customer, you always want people to be preferred over retail, because with preferred, you're actually getting what's called product bonuses. So even if they just buy a bag of Slim, that's $18 for you. So that can add up to be quite a lot, especially if they're doing the probiotic and the cleanse. Those are like $5 or $6 each. So, you know, it's more profitable for you to have them as a preferred customer. But again, it's the better deal for them too, because it's cheaper than retail. So yeah, absolutely, Amber, you're right. I mean, that's such a good point. I know in the beginning you were more nervous and shy about presenting that, but you're so right. It's not just a business thing. I mean, if you look at it, the big majority of the people on my team, you know, of over 800 people, is not people doing the business. It's just wholesale buyers that just faithfully order every month, you know. So those people are appreciated, and they're loving it because they're getting their products for the cheapest price. And they have the option to do the business at some point if they want to, but, you know, we don't push people to do it. It's all their choice. So good point, Amber. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Rebecca, this is Carol. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to add something. So I was kind of like Amber when I started. I was kind of afraid to, you know, go the ambassador route. But what I found was I ultimately went to asking people, is it more important for you to have the 60-day money-back guarantee, or is it more important for you to have the cheaper price? And I think they appreciate the fact that I gave them the option and let them pick.
That's really good. I like that.
So I've been going that route more.
So which is more important, the 60-day or the,
The cheaper price.
yeah, I like how you put that. That's really great.
So, and then that way it's their decision. It's not me telling them to go one way or another.
Uh-huh.
And I have found too that when people do go preferred, if they stick with it, after like 3 or 4 months, they're usually converting over anyway.
Yeah. That's great. Anybody else have tips? I love that. That's really good. Okay. Let's see, what else did I have down here? Okay, so like when you're reaching out to people, and some of this stuff is going to be basic, but you know, when you're reaching out, you want to basically just, you know, make it short and sweet. You don't want it to be a big long thing that tells them every single thing about Plexus. And that's a thing that a lot of new ambassadors do, and it can really come back to bite you, because then what happens is then those people are just turned off. They just think you're selling to them, and it's just like overload, like too much information. So, you know, a way to start a conversation if you're just cold messaging somebody is, you know, hey, you know, the first thing you might do is just reach out to them as a friend. You know, like if you haven't talked to them in a while, like don't even talk Plexus the first 1 or 2 times. And then if you're going to bring up Plexus, you could say, hey, I'm sure you've seen my post about Plexus and I'm pretty passionate about it. You know, have you heard of it? Or, you know, are you interested in it? Or is there anything I can answer for you? You know, or if they're asking you, you know, then just only answer the question they're asking. You don't have to go into what all the details of all, like how to buy it, the ingredient list, you know, just like every little thing, the compensation plan. You want to be just answering their questions. And then when you're answering their questions, you want to end with a question. So, you know, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example of that. I should have wrote one down. Maybe Amber can think of one. But, you know, you just want to always be answering with a question that leads into the next thing.
Oh, do you want me? So I don't know. An example sometimes I'll say is like, what are your health? Like, what are you looking for to get out of Plexus, or what are your health goals?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those are big ones that I use all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, once someone does join, like I said, I think it's good to throw them in, you know, a 3-way chat, you know, with your upline, or just another new ambassador. If you put 2 or 3 new ambassadors together with you in a chat, I think that's really good. And then too, if they have a prospect, you know, if they have somebody they want to share Plexus with, I think it's good to get them on a Zoom with, say, do you have like 3 people that you would want to share Plexus with and that might be interested? If you can get them on a Zoom with me, then I can share my story and we can answer their questions and have like a little mini opportunity meeting kind of thing on the Zoom. It's so powerful for people to connect and to hear the passion in your voice and kind of see the person, you know, with the name. And so I do recommend doing that. You know, and ask them, just say, you know, what attracted you to Plexus? What are you interested in about Plexus? And find out what it is, you know, and then too, on that same Zoom, you want to be showing them how it's possible, you know, to be paying for their products right away. You know, if they're getting 3 to 5 or 6 people, you know, like customers, ambassadors, whatever, if they have some people that are interested in doing Plexus, then they're going to end up getting their products cheaper and or maybe even paid for. The quicker that you can get an ambassador to, you know, start getting a check by, you know, sharing it, then they're going to continue. You know, they're not going to be the white line. They're not going to quit if they're getting a paycheck. You know, if they're loving the products and they're getting a paycheck, there would be no reason for them to quit. I think when people get discouraged is if they're paying for it every month and they can't afford it, well, then teach that person how they can share it and get their products cheaper. Because I don't know anybody that doesn't want free products. So, And if you're just getting started, definitely business cards. You can order those on Etsy or plexusstuff.com. They have them on the back office, the website, but some of the Etsy ones are a little bit cuter, and you can get them for a pretty good deal. And just be involved in the team pages and the trainings and events. The events are really good, and launch parties. I mean, we had one for Jeannie last weekend, and she signed 2 ambassadors right then and there. So those are really great. And she's silver now, and yay. And so, like, that's a really good way to get things going with a new ambassador too. Ask them if you can do a little sip and see or a launch party, and so.
Is the launch party like a sip and see, or what did you do at the launch party?
It's kind of the same thing, I guess. Like some people call it a lunch party, some people call it a sip and see. It's kind of the same. I mean, I guess it just is a terminology, I mean, we pretty much do the same thing, just talk about the products. And I think some people are more comfortable with the word launch party because they're like, yeah, I'm doing it as a business and I'm excited to do it as a business. And some other people might be like, well, it's just to get together, so we're doing a sip and see. But it's pretty much the same thing because you're just casually at somebody's house talking about the products. And you don't have to know everything about the products if you're brand new. But if you have your upline that does know a little more about the products, they can come and they can help you talk about the products and talk about your testimony. I think the biggest thing that people, worry about is, I don't have a testimony, but then they forget that they have better energy, or they're sleeping better, or, their gut health, their digestive issues are better, or, headaches are gone. I mean, those testimonies are just as important and significant as losing 5 pounds, so and I think that's another thing that Amber has really done that's kind of really made a difference with the growth on her team and the growth on this team too, is that we really try to emphasize to people to share Plexus right away, not to wait. When they first join, if they'll just put a little Facebook post of their product on the kitchen counter or them in their pink drink and say, hey, I'm starting Plexus to get healthier. Who wants to join me on this journey? Or have you heard of Plexus? And people will comment yes or no, or do those little, guess how many slim sticks are in a jar. That's a huge one to start your business. Just put a little picture of the slims in the jar and say, guess how many, and then do a drawing. Those are compliant still, right, Amber?
Yeah, those ones are still compliant.
Okay.
There's questions going around, but apparently they are. But those ones are really successful. A lot of people, and then so you have all those people that comment. You get one winner out of it, and you can send them like a block or a slim block trial or a trial of anything. But then all those people that comment, you can now reach out to them, and ask them if they're interested in learning more about Plexus. So that's kind of the point of those. And a lot of people will comment usually on those because everybody has been watching your post for a while and they want to know it. They want to try it. Or if you're brand new, everybody likes samples. So
Yeah. And
those have been a huge tip.
Yeah, and people like guessing the number. Like, it's funny because we used to do like, comment me if you want to try Plexus. And some people would comment or not very many or whatever. But when you throw out guess the number, everybody's like, the competitive nature, they're like, oh, I think I know how many, and they get excited. And so I think more people will comment if you're doing it that way. So it's sort of a fun one.
Those are good ones.
Mm-hmm. What other good ideas do you have, Amber, or tips, or anybody for that matter? Anybody ideas for when you're just getting started?
Sample packets are really good, just like individual ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's meaning like sending people just 1 day trials, not 3 or 7, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, not even like just handing them out to people of like, hey, just give this a shot. Let me know what you think. I've had a lot of people that really liked it off of 1 packet. They don't need 3, 4. Yeah, Crystal, she signed because of 1 packet. And she's doing amazing. So yeah, that's like all it takes sometimes. So have them, like, attach your business card to them. You know, when you're just chatting up people in the store, you can hand them right because you have it there available in your purse.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think if you've just started, a great way to get started, if you can afford it, I say if you can afford it, you'll make your money back. Like if you buy an extra bag of Slim and you strategically give one stick of Slim with a business card to people, friends that you trust or that you know will take it. I mean, you don't want to give it to somebody that you're not sure. Like you don't want it to end up in some junk drawer of somebody's kitchen or their purse. And, you know, but, you know, you can give them away. One little stick of Slim. Jennifer's right. That's how I started my business. I gave away a ton of just one stick samples. And sometimes, you know, a lot of times they signed as an ambassador because they just wanted it cheaper. You know, I would meet them at Starbucks and give them a Slim and a water bottle, and they would try it right there and join. That still happens sometimes still, but in the beginning, a lot of it happened that way. And
that's almost better than like a 7-day trial. We kind of go, Rebecca and I from the beginning have gone back and forth on the 7-day trials because sometimes people expect miracles in 7 days. And obviously we all know that you really need to give the product 60 to 90 days to fully work. So it really is, I think, more beneficial just to give somebody a 1-day trial than even the 7-day challenge. 7-day challenges have also been awesome for us, but there are some people that I've done 7-day challenges with, and you know, they're not going to give it another try because they didn't have amazing results in 7 days. So I agree with both of them that the 1-day trials are awesome.
yeah,
Because then they don't expect anything. They're just really just doing it for the taste. They're not expecting, you know, amazing benefits.
I mean, seriously, we went from 0 ambassadors in our office. Now we have 5 and preferred customers just off a single packet between Crystal and I, you know, so it's, yeah. I know Monica's on right now too, and she just went silver today, like doing that stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, some people have great success with the 7 days, and we do 7 days and stuff, and we have too. It depends on the person, you know, but if somebody, you know, if they'll just try it with one and they like the taste of it, whatever, and they go ahead and order a 30-day supply, if they have that bag of 30 Slims, they're going to be more likely to take it every day, you know, and go through the bag because they just spent money on it versus, you know, 7 days and, I didn't lose much. I didn't lose a pound. I didn't, you know, I'm not feeling that much energy. Some people will right away. Some people on a 7-day will feel fantastic. I mean, I kicked my Diet Coke habit on day 4. So I could have done a 7-day, but I joined because it was cheaper. I didn't even try the drink at all. Christine was in Oklahoma. I had never heard of it. Amber never tried the drink either. She joined. So, you know, everybody is going to be different, but definitely, yeah, have those available with you all the time. The little one Slims with a little business card attached is a great idea.
So Rebecca, about the 7-day trial. So I heard about you a year ago, and I got a 7-day trial from my cousin in Chicago, and I carried it around and moved it from 3 different purses till a month ago when I finally tried it. So I wasted my poor cousin's $20 because I carried it around for 6 months and then signed with Heather. So save your $20.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and you know what? You do not want to give away a 7-day. Okay, don't anybody do that. I've done it. Stupid. I mean, look at it. Got carried around in the purse. They never took it. So don't ever give away a 7-day. Think real hard about a 3-day. But you can give away a 1. You know, 1 stick is easy to give away. And you never know. That might be your rock star on your team. But
And if I had just had 1, I would have liked it. I didn't need 7 to know that I liked it.
yeah, exactly.
Another thing I'm trying, I don't know if it's going to work, but for the end of the year gifts for teachers, they're all getting Plexus packs. They're getting baskets, and they're having like trial stuff in it with the cream, the ease, and like the 3-day block because they were giving those out at the product store. So, I mean, that's just another thing we're tempting. I don't know if it's going to work, but.
That's great. Really good.
I think I'll try that.
I know.
Both of my girls' teachers one orders just probiotics, and the other one loves it, but she's a single mom. It's like, can't afford it, so I've been working on her. But maybe I'll give her more.
Well, I'm going to find teacher testimonies, and kind of like what you guys did for the expo, you had Rebecca's stuff on the photo cards from Costco. I'm going to find teachers' testimonies and put them on those cards and put them in as well.
We're both going to do that.
Yeah.
Great idea. Great idea.
Well, you'll have to put Chris. You could put the business testimony too. Christine's and Suzanne and Kelly. We got 3 teachers now retiring. So.
And they'll probably all 3 be on there too.
Yeah. That's awesome. One other thing I was going to touch on too is just, Jeannie actually made me think of this. It's just, when you're sharing Plexus with people, always ask and just check with them and say, have you been working with another ambassador? Have you tried Plexus before? Because, it is growing like crazy here in Arizona, and I know everywhere else too, the other people on our teams in different states, but, it's starting to get to that point where people have heard of it from more than 1 or 2 people. So we want to be respectful of that and just ask them and make sure. And in the end, it's that person's choice who they go with. We have to respect that too. But just always have that in your conversation when you're talking to people about Plexus. Make sure they're not working with someone else already. Yeah. I feel like I should say more. Is there any more things we want to go over?
Yeah, just general questions.
Yeah, questions that anybody has.
You just want to go to bed?
No, really real quick, because I know like my biggest weakness is the 3-way Zoom calls, trying to convince people, because I always get no, and then I'm like, okay, how do you get them on? I know the one that we just did the other day, like, because that was an expo thing, but other than that, I've not been successful trying to get anybody on a Zoom call.
But you can also, what about putting them, if they don't want to be face-to-face on a call, you can throw them in on a 3-way message with us on Facebook too. I don't know, have you tried that?
No, they just get, like, I always get like the huge impression like they're really doing it for the discount, but they want 0 to do with the business side. And I don't want to force them into anything that they're just not wanting to do at this current moment in time.
So are you talking more about like doing a Zoom with your ambassadors in the upline, or are you talking about?
Well, starting with this, like when you sign ambassadors, trying to get them on, and then a lot of the people, I have a lot of potentials right now, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not good at approaching, hey, let's get you on, because I feel like I'm just trying to throw it in their face, or I'm just trying to kind of ease them in. I don't know. Comfort zone.
I understand. You're just starting. Like Amber and I, when we first started, we reached out to no one. We were way too nervous to do that. We were like, we just posted on Facebook and waited for the magic to happen, And early on, we discovered that there was little magic, right? Is that what did you say, Amber?
I said, don't do that. If you truly want this business, don't wait for people to reach out to you, because they might trickle in slowly. You'll have the journey that I had in the beginning, because I kind of waited. It took me a long time to get the courage, but don't, because people truly are wanting to know. They're just too chicken to reach out to you. You'll actually get really good feedback if you're brave and get out of your comfort zone and do it. And just decide like if you're going to go all in or not. And don't be afraid. People will tell you, if people tell you no, oh, well, it's no big deal. It's not like they're going to not be your friend anymore. And if they are, then seriously, they were never your friend in the beginning. So, and I haven't had anybody that I know of unfriend me or talk bad or anything like that. So, and I'm out of my comfort zone. So
I had one unfriend me today, or I don't know if I'm unfriended or blocked. I'm something.
Oh.
I can't send her a message.
Oh yeah.
You're blocked.
I was in her wedding. She was in my wedding.
Huh.
I only reached out to her about Plexus one time.
Oh, well.
She's blocked me. I'm like, she's the first one I know of. I guess that's not bad after 16 months, but I'm like, really? I only messaged you once. So I'm getting ready to call her tomorrow. Ask her what's up.
Don't be afraid of it, though. It's not. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, and you know what, though, too, in all seriousness, I think I learned a lesson. Like, I had not talked to her in probably a year, and I led with, hey, are you still struggling with your health like you always were before? Because I got this great thing. And that's really not how I should have done it at all. I should have just connected with her as my friend and then let that conversation come up, So I think we have to, really evaluate sometimes ourselves and think about how we're coming across, So, I mean, like you're right, Jennifer, you don't want to push people into things that they're not comfortable with, but that it's okay to throw it out there as an option. And I think it's scarier. Like, we've done a lot more like 3-way calls with new ambassadors and stuff, but we hadn't until recently done like these 3-way Zooms or 4-way Zooms with potentials. And the first couple of them that you do, it is a little bit scary. You're wondering how they're going to perceive it or whatever. But we really, at least, the ones we've been doing here lately, Amber and I try to just really make it light and really make it like, hey, this is just my story. And, we emphasize that Plexus can be as big or as small as you want it to be. And we're here to support you with whatever you decide, to do with it.
And you can just simply say, like, like if they've already started, you can just ask them, like, they know way more than I do, and they're happy to, just laughing, that.
I really just wish you could be on this side sometimes. It's just. I won't embarrass them too soon in the whole thing, but I'm not laughing at what you're saying, I promise.
Oh. No, you can just say, like, if you maybe have questions that they can answer that I can't, they have a lot more knowledge. And if they don't want to do it, it's okay. Like, just give them time. I wouldn't say be pushy about it at all.
One thing that I have started telling the people when they join with me is I say, it took me a little bit to post about anything on Facebook because I didn't have anything that was happening with me, but I did know that I was super excited and I really wanted to try the products. And so I happened to call, and this is a true story, 2 of my girlfriends the day that I joined, and they signed up. The one was the next day and the second one was day 3. And so I said, I really liked that because I started with a girlfriend. So we could bounce things off of each other. We could talk about how we felt. So just know that your girlfriends are probably feeling kind of the same way. So don't feel that you have to feel results to share because you're probably excited to start this. And they probably are looking for something to help them to feel better. Now, if they accept that and do something with it, that's on them. But that's how I started sharing with it because that was actually how I felt. I was beyond excited and I called everybody I knew just to say, oh my gosh, you have to do this with me. I'm so excited. And 2 jumped on.
Good point.
Yeah, very good. It's true. People want to do stuff with their friends. They do, and it's always funner to try something new together.
Anything else, Rebecca? Or any questions?
Anybody have anything else? Nope. Okay, well, it's probably getting a little late. I only have my clock in front of me, so we will end this, and you guys all have a great evening, and go Plexus.
Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Bye.